So I grew up in Argentina, which means I always had a problem with confidence. My problem is I have too much of it. And in Argentina, this is quite common. We have a charming tendency to think that we are the greatest country in the world, even though our nation has been declining for about 100 years. We are, according to some economic standards, the only perpetually devolving nation in the world. And to cope with this, or maintain our delusion, we also have the highest concentration of psychoanalysts per capita in the world. And if you don't want to spend your life in therapy, you can do what I did, which is you become a psychologist yourself. So I've always been interested in the relationship between confidence, how smart you think you are, and competence, how smart you actually are. And for about 10 years, I've been conducting studies relating people's self-perceived abilities with their actual abilities, not just in Argentina, but in about 40 different countries. And the surprising fact is that there is a very weak relationship between competence and confidence. Not because most people are overly modest or underconfident, but because the vast majority of people think they're better than they actually are. So overconfidence is one of the most pervasive biases in human thought. And if you read popular psychology textbooks or are into the self-help industry, you will know that there are two individual advantages of being overconfident. Number one, it does feel good to think you're great, even if you're deluded. Number two, that delusion can help you fool other people. And yet, there is a dark side of overconfidence that is hardly ever emphasized. For example, overconfidence explains why some people are much more likely to have traffic accidents, whether drivers, cyclists, or pedestrians, why some people gamble and are into compulsive, pathological levels of gambling, and why we have financial gambling cases, such as the last meltdown, which are caused not just by greedy investment bankers, but also overconfident consumers who overestimate their ability to pay back their loans and mortgages. Overconfidence is also behind major health threats, and it explains why smokers, drinkers, drug users, illegal or legal, and compulsive eaters are in denial about their addictions and overestimate their ability to quit or underestimate the potential harmful effects that these addictions might have on them. Even when they're aware of them, they think it will happen to other people, not to themselves. And finally, overconfidence also fosters and promotes a narcissistic culture, a narcissistic society where we commonly mistake confidence by competence, which is why in any domain or profession of expertise, there are so many charlatans in business. Why arrogant and psychopathic employees are commonly promoted to managerial levels. Why we have not enough women in charge, because they are more modest and more underconfident. Yes, it's true, it's a fact. And also, why so many people, especially teenagers, are obsessed with being famous just for the sake of being famous and spend so much time worshiping those who worship themselves. And why some of you might spend so much time updating your Facebook status, hoping that others like what you're doing. And, luckily they can't dislike it, they can only like it. So what's the solution? And I want to finish on a negative note, which really is for your benefit and for our benefit, collective benefit. Maybe it's better to see the glass as half empty. And not enough has been said emphasizing the positive power of negative thinking. There are key adaptational benefits to your insecurities and to low confidence. For example, low confidence is a threat detection signal that tells you that you shouldn't be doing something. And if you hear a little inner voice that tells you you shouldn't do something, consider yourself lucky. Maybe you should pay attention to it. At the same time, the reason why so many people suffer from having low self-concept is because this signal is emphasizing a discrepancy between the person you want to be and the person you think you are. So what you should do about it is try to reduce that discrepancy or that gap between confidence and competence by working hard, not by reading self-help books that tell you that you shouldn't worry about your self-esteem, that you're great, no matter what other people think of you. And finally, low confidence and insecurities are key to keep us modest, humble. And there are many advantages to modesty. It keeps us attentive to negative feedback, which means that we are more coachable. It also stops us from being complacent, and it also makes us more likable. And this is coming from a recovering Argentine. So the message is clear. A less confident world would be a better world. Thank you very much.